Now, here's what I love about positive. If I say to you, Cyril, I'm working with CEOs that are burning out. I'm wondering if you'd like some help. It's easy for Cyril to say no to that because, no, I don't want that. I'm fine, right? Now, I'm not saying it's always going to be like that. Some people might say, yes, I'd like to talk to you, and that's fine. But if I say, D, I'd like to help you. I'm working with a few people who are losing cash flow at the moment and finding it hard to stay afloat. Would you like help? And D's like, it's easy for D to go, no, thank you. I'm good. Hey there, expert. Rana Saini here. See, the wealthiest business coaches and consultants see business success as the system. This podcast, The Expert Advantage, contains real-world, in-the-trenches business advice that our clients use to gain a strategic advantage in growing their million-dollar expert business. It's my hope that you use these short lessons and insights to gain your strategic advantage in growing your expert business, and maybe one day soon partner with us at The Expert Project to take your expert coaching and consulting business to $1 million and beyond. I hope you share and enjoy. I was talking to a client last night and we were having a chat about just like her marketing, like what was going on and how some things that worked really well for a while and then all of a sudden they stopped working well. And there was this really good delineation. I just want to start sharing this with you guys as a point to kick everything off. And it was around their messaging, and their messaging made a shift. We touched on it in the marketing masterclass on Tuesday night as well. And it really did make a huge difference for the guys who listen. See, marketing, if you think about what marketing is, at the end of the day, marketing is when my iPad comes back on, takes a little while. If we drew a little triangle up, in the middle of your business is essentially an offer, right? If you think, no matter how you spin it in business, your business is just an offer. And what we do is we wrap the offer in numerous different elements, right? So if you think about it, we look at delivery, we look at marketing, and we look at sales. But in the middle of that is an offer. It's something that you do for people, something that they want. And what it actually is, an offer is essentially looking at what the gap and the gain is for your audience. So in marketing, whenever we talk about it, I always look at it like the thing that you deliver. Most consultants do this really well because you're an expert in it. So you can talk about how to do it. And delivery is all about the how. Here's how to do it. Here's how to write it. Here's how to implement it. Here's how to think about it. And when we move into marketing, marketing is all about what? It's where you point at something. Here's what it is. Here's what the problem is. Here's what you're missing. Here's what you're needing. Here's what you're not doing. Here's what. And sales is when you put the how and the what together, ultimately sales comes down to a why. Here's why you need to do something about it. Because why is embedded in consequence. If you don't do this thing, like, why do you need to do it? Why not stay where you are? Why not just not do this? Why not continue as you're going in your current strategy? Why do you need this right now? Why is this problem so important? Why? Sales is about questions. Delivery is about how, application. Marketing is about pointing at things. So if we zoom back into marketing and we have a look at what marketing actually comes down to, the fundamentals of marketing, we're essentially looking at a problem and we're looking at a solution. And somewhere in the middle, your prospects have a gap. So we were talking about this the other night and we sat back, and Elmira, who's been in our program for a little while, and she just posted her win into the wins chat. I'd love you to hear about her story because she's been someone who, she's in the UK, she comes to our intensives and she stays up from like at 10 p.m. to 3 a.m. just so she doesn't miss anything in the intensive. And anyone who knows Elmira, she's very quiet, very calm, very polite. And she signed up a 6,000 pound client. And I asked her, yeah, absolutely, Cyril. It's commitment, right? People are like, oh, I'm in Perth, it's too early. Not that any one of our clients says that, but I've been, as an example. But commitment is really, I really love that about her. And I said, what's changed? What helped you get that client? And she said, one thing, Rana, really changed for me, and it was, and she's talking so politely, and she's like, I changed my messaging from problem-based messaging into more aspirational-based messaging. And I said to her, that's interesting, right? Like problem-based messaging to aspiration-based messaging. And then I was invited to speak in front of a group of female executives yesterday, women leaders. Don't know why they got me in. I'm not like, I don't fit their target market, but they like Angela, who's a lovely partner of ours. She's come through and she'll be speaking at our intensive. She's like, I'd love you to speak in front of my group of women leaders about LinkedIn. So we're talking about it, and I said to them, put your offer into the chat. So here's what we want to do. All I want you to do is say, I help audience with outcome. That's as simple as I said. So if you think about this, I help audience with outcome. So it's very simple. And a lot of them were putting in things like, I help, one was I help, I'm trying to remember what it was. It was like, I help leaders get clear, right? I help leaders get clear. And I'm like, oh, cool, something's missing with that offer, because clear on what? Clear on what? So the specificity is really important. And what I see a lot of people do in marketing, the big mistake is if you draw a line down one, like in the middle of a page, and you look at the problem, and we write down 3 problems that we solve. Right? 3 problems that we solve. So the 3 things that if we didn't solve these 3 things, no one would want to buy from us. So if we didn't address these 3 issues, nobody would want to buy from us. Now, we obviously, a little cheat for you guys, we have a triangle. So if you think about it, we take the outside of the triangle, they become the problems you solve. So for us is model, marketing, sales, for example. Offer, leads, clients. So they're the problem. And if I put that into the problem, it is, 1, my offer doesn't seem to get people to say yes. Marketing, I don't generate enough leads. Sales, I don't make enough cash flow. So what I'd like you to do is, everyone, just for the fun of this game, is I want you to think in terms of the negative for a second. In terms of the negative. So what's one thing that your clients don't have? And just put it in the chat. One thing they don't have. Something they are missing. Something they are needing. What is that? Just have a think about it for a second. I'm going to get some notes up. While you're thinking about it, let me put some music on so it doesn't sound like a library in here. Crypto knowledge. So they don't know enough about crypto. But my clients are CEOs and they don't have productive teams. Control. They don't have control of their workload, systems. They don't have leverage systems. They don't know how to prioritize their knowledge or their IP. Great. really interesting. Problem-based messages don't have usage of their data. They don't know how to use their data. And so we talked about like the difference between problem versus aspiration. And so what I'd like you to do is now flip that. So let's turn that into a message for the fun of it. Guys, don't worry too much about getting it right. This is more about just the exercise itself. I'd like you to turn that message into how would you write that message in a negative way, right? So you would say something like, "Hi, Cyril, I'm working with leaders who are missing, who don't know how to leverage their systems or don't have great systems in order to create more leverage. Hi, Cyril, my name's Rana. I'm working with CEOs who are burning out and don't have control over their workloads. Hi, Kate, my name's Rana. I'm working with executives who aren't using their data productively to create high level performance." Yeah, it's like, so think about it like in the negative. And what I'd like you to do is just write down that, just tap it into the chat and write it into the chat when you've got it. Just a message. It's just for fun. We're not going to use these. It's more just an exercise of how to apply some of this stuff that we're doing. Yep. That's right, Cyril. I'm working with executives who are swamped and are feeling burnout or something, right? I'm working with CEOs who are tearing their hair out over low team productivity. Yeah, nice. My clients aren't connected and don't know how to fix it. Yeah, my clients are, yeah, great. I'm working with leaders who are swamped, out of control, overwhelmed, and wondering if it's even sustainable. Exactly. He says, I'm working with individuals that are poorly equipped in the knowledge of the crypto space. Perfect. Yeah, poorly equipped. I love that. Very negative. I'm working with coaches who don't know how to go about turning some aspect of their IP into income generating. Great. So they don't know. There's a gap, right? So what you've all done is you've all pointed at something. And all you've chosen to do is point out the negative. Hi, Rana, I work with project teams who don't know how to communicate effectively to reduce, and yeah, great, exactly. So here's some of the nuances of marketing I want to share with you. Why no one really talks about this in marketing. I don't know why, and it's kind of unconsciously competent, I believe. And what it is when you start, there are two parts of marketing. There is the top, so that's the first interaction you will have with someone normally. And then the second is when they opt into your database, and that's really the middle of funnel, and that's usually the second major interaction you would have with them. What I found is at the top, so this is where it's linked in, it's much easier and much more profitable if you talk about an aspiration or a solution, right? And I'll tell you why in a second. Then when they've come into your world, you ask them about the problem. Now, this is really important because if I don't know you, for example, say I was working with, let's just say I was working with Marie, right? And Marie sends me a message, and I'm an executive, and I get a message from Marie, and it says, "Hi, Ron, I'm working with other CEOs who don't feel connected and with their teams and don't know how to fix it." Now, I don't know Marie. I don't really know her that well. So what she's asking me to do is admit to a problem in front of someone I don't know. And now there's this nervousness, right? Well, why would I admit to that? Why would I say, yes, I would like your help? Because I'm actually implicating myself in a problem. And now the higher you work in corporate, the more there is a bit of an ego attached to it. And what you realize is if I say yes to something like that and someone screenshots it and sends it to my competition or sends it to my employer or sends it to my the board members, they'll be like, "Hey, we just realized we got this message. Someone said that you're burning out." And they're like, "Oh, no, it's not that. It's just..." So if you want less engagement at the front, when you don't know someone, when they're cold, ask them if they have a problem. Most people will say, "No, we're fine. I've got that covered." Right? Just, it's like basic ego, just like, "I'm good." They could be struggling, but I'm good. And what we realize is that when you frame it in the positive, now this is where Almira said she's changed it to the positive. She started to get 6 times more leads. Now she used a number, and I don't know whether this is correct. So like, just for the sake of it, she said she gets 90 leads a month now. Now, I don't know, Vaughan, if that's true. 20 of them turn into bookings, 10 of them are had. So that's a lot. I mean, it's probably too much. But what I say is too much. It's probably too much for like one person to like handle, but she's got 20 bookings coming through, which is fine. So what I'd like to do is think about it now in terms of the positive. So you've written that message down on one column, and what we want to do is then turn it into the possibility. And the possibility is just, it's not so much just, the first step is you could just do the opposite. If you have a low converting offer, you want a high converting offer. But if you can go one step deeper and be more specific, what are 3 things that if you could make these things happen for your target market? If you could help them with these 3 things, everything would be better. Everything would be easier. Everything would feel far more enjoyable. Life would be good. And what I want you to do is just put one of those positives into the chat. And that's it. So have a think. What's a possibility that your guys want? And put it into the chat. No right or wrong. It's just the exercise. You know. And Marie, what I'd ask you is if everyone spoke up, what would happen? What would be the benefit of that?
We can wait to it. Wait. Just wait.
Yep. An amazing culture where your people thrive and choose to stay in your organization. Yep. So Alexis, there's like a retention benefit, right? A talent retention benefit. So if I could label that in marketing, I'd say, do you want to retain great talent? Is one of those things. That's good.
Oh, wait.
Crypto infant. Hashtag crypto infant. That's great. I love that. Educate yourself. Yeah. And if you could educate yourself on crypto, would you like to learn how to make your first profit from crypto? Could be the way you do that, right? Move them across that. But that's really good. I like that. Reduce cash flow anxiety by developing income. Yeah. Develop an online income. AirSync. Develop an online income. Just write that part down. Develop an online income. That's great. Simple systems that help them grow and manage easier. Great. Simple systems to grow faster. Joel, simple systems to grow faster. I like it. Yeah. Have more control over your work-life balance. So, deliver projects. Be more productive, deliver projects sooner, right? Balance, have a great work-life balance. Great.
Wait.
Yeah, so Marie, what you're doing is you're creating a culture where people collaborate and then performance is higher, right? Deliver on your priorities, have a great work-life balance. Love that. Okay. So if we think about it now, just purely from a PT said, would you like your project team to check your project team's communication plan to ensure messaging would lay the foundation for end user adoption, reduce end user resistance? Yeah, there's a lot going on there. If you summarize that down, which is great, PT, by the way, you'd say, would you like a communication plan to help users adopt your product faster? So you see, when I talk about marketing, it's a very simple, in my mind, we just want to break down words into the simplest format of what it is. Kieran, you had understand how to implement ESG actions that involve practical and efficient waste recycling outcomes. Yeah, would you like help implementing ESG in a practical and profitable way? You want that? Now, here's what I love about positive. If I say to you, I'm working with CEOs that are burning out, I'm wondering if you'd like some help. It's easy for Cyril to say no to that because no, I don't want that. I'm fine. Right? Now, I'm not saying it's always going to be like that. Some people might say, yes, I'd like to talk to you, and that's fine. But if I say, D, I'd like to help you. I'm working with a few people who are losing cash flow at the moment and finding it hard to stay afloat. Would you like help? And D's like, it's easy for D to go, no, thank you. I'm good. So you make it easy for people to say no, and therefore they say no. And what we want to do is when you put a positive in front of them, if I said to someone, for example, I went with Kieran and I said, hey, Kieran, I'm working with other waste recycling companies to help them implement ESG actions to increase their profitability or productivity, whatever. Is that something you'd be interested in? Now, if they say no to that, they look stupid, because who wouldn't want something easier, faster, cheaper, or to make more money? So when you put it in the positive, you'll get more yeses, because to say no is embarrassing, right? Would you like to lose weight and get healthier? No. I'm fine. Would you like your team to communicate better and stay longer? No, I'm good. Our team are great. You still might have that. But it's going to be less. Would you like help, working with crypto and making sustainable profits? Okay, yeah, sure. Show me. I'd be interested in that. When you flip it to the possibility, you will create more top of funnel activity and engagement. And I think what we've been to, a lot of people teach people, if you go out with the problem, and there's nothing wrong with knowing the problem, but when you frame the problem should be given to someone when you have a chat with them. Because now you've got what I call relationship equity. So for example, if I say, hey, Cyril, would you like help generating a few more leads off LinkedIn? And he says, yeah. And I go, well, let's have a chat about how we can help. Fine. Then on the call, the first thing I'd ask is, obviously, tell us what's wrong at the moment. What's not happening that you don't have enough leads? And then we delve into the problem. But at the top end, there's not enough relationship equity there to talk about the problem, because it's just, he doesn't know who I am, doesn't know what I'm doing, doesn't trust me yet, right? So it's really important that you just understand that that concept between problem-based messaging and aspirational-based messaging. Problem versus possibilities is different. Aspirational, future-focused language shifts people to a different part of the brain. Absolutely. Neurologically, when you think about us, when we go into anything we don't know, we straight away are detecting for risks. So when you see things that are problem-based, it increases the risk, doesn't it? You're like, oh, yep, no, that sounds weird. But when you just take a step back and you talk about possibilities, people are more open-minded. So it's now what I do is have a think about how could you turn the previous message that you had, and if those of you who could write really fast, I kind of gave you a few of them, into a positive message that you could use. And just take a couple of minutes and just write that down, and let's pop it into the chat, because I've got one more little thing to give you, and then we're going to answer any questions that you guys have about your marketing, your messaging, things that are maybe not working as well, or questions that you've got about certain things that you're doing. So we're going to dive into that. So give us your message, just a little message in the positive, and we'll go from there. Hey there, expert. So listen, our mission here at the Expert Project is to positively impact the world of other business coaches and consultants just like you. We want to help them make more impact, have more income, and have a positive influence on the world. And see, the only way we can do that is if you've heard something in today's episode that moved you, created an insight, changed your perspective, or gave you an aha moment. All I'd ask you to do is take 10 seconds, rate and review this podcast, so together we can help spread the word about this podcast and have a positive influence in someone else's world. I help individuals create a crypto portfolio and maintain sustainable profits. Very nice. I help coach, generate an online income, Anthony. Perfect. So keep going, guys. By the way, I don't want you to stop. There was I'll share a message. I just have it here in front of me. You might have had a look. And the next part of the journey in marketing comes down to follow-up. And follow-up is a really interesting part of marketing, because what we tend to do is think, I don't want to bug people. I don't want to pester people. So we send messages or we send emails and then that's it. And what I found is it's usually in the second or third prompt that we start seeing messages, especially from people who are busy. And so what I've done is, if people don't respond to you, this is a really good message to just have you send via SMS or email. And it's basically just that. Name, just wanting to follow up on, my previous message, or just wanting to follow up on your work-life balance, or just wanting to follow up on the crypto strategy, or just wanting to follow up on generating income online, or just want to follow up on creating simple systems, or helping you just want to follow up on helping you scale faster. Joel, just want to follow up on helping your team collaborate. I just want to follow up on, are you wanting to leave this for now? Notice how I didn't say, are you still interested? What I'm actually wanting them to do is I want them to either go up or out. So if I followed people up, like I've said, just if I've sent my booster message. So for example, I go, great, just checking in. Did you get my message, D? And D doesn't come back to me. Then maybe in like 7 days, I'd follow up with this and say, hey, D, just wanting to follow up on that crypto strategy, on that crypto strategy. Are you wanting to leave this for now? And people are very funny because they don't want to lose an opportunity. So you'll have people go, sorry, I've been busy. Yes, when can we catch up? Or you'll have people say, yes, now's not a good time. No worries at all. But I would copy that somewhere and hold it, because if you, by the way, guys, if any of you have had prospects you've been following for the last, maybe following up, and they've been ghosting you for the last 30 days or 45 days, take this message and literally over the next 20 minutes, send it to a few people. I bet you get people respond. Simple little message. So with that in mind, how are we going? How's everyone going with their marketing? Does anyone have a question about what they're doing in their campaigns, either an email, either marketing, whatever it is? Is there anything that you have that that you need help with that I can go through today? Anyone, if you do. Otherwise, if not, just say just listening, and I can keep banging on about some things. But I've got a couple of things to share with you guys. But give us does anyone looking on? All right, let's talk about, how's everyone going this month in terms of their marketing, your marketing for leads? And if you have questions about presenting your offer, what is it? Happy to help. Now's a good time. I can always just pull someone off mute, just be like, hey. PT said, task alignment. I help project delivery teams focus effort on high value, high impact work that delivers faster customer tactics. Great. Customer tactics. I help project delivery teams understand their customers, which helps fast track user adoption. They're great. PT, they're really good. Probably the clearest, most concise I've ever heard you speak about what you do. Like, that is really good. No notes. Good job. Go for it, Marie. Jump off mute, Marie. Let's have a chat about pricing and offer. Maybe not right. No. Pricing is important. Let's talk about pricing.
Okay.
Other people will too. So.
Okay. So I had a lead come in this week, and so we had a brainstorm yesterday, and now I'm writing a proposal.
Hey.
Yeah. So, which needs to be presented to the execs, for approval.
Yeah.
So one question, so the brainstorm went really well, but one question that I was actually blindsided by, I allowed myself to be blindsided by, was the budget, because I said, what sort of budget do you have? And the person said, we don't have a budget. We've got money in this financial year and next financial year, so it would be over the 2 financial years. This is a government department, by the way. So, I have made an assumption based on it was a referral from another government organisation. So anyway, that's probably something that's just left. But what do you do in a situation like that? Because I didn't want to press I didn't want to press the issue to have them back off.
Yeah. No, so pricing is really interesting. Great question, Maureen. And look, I know that with corporates and things like that, it can be different. And we always feel like that from a budget perspective, we're always on the back foot, or we need to be. This is a really great question. I want to share this. Some of you, I've actually said this with some of you, and this is I'm going to share something with you guys now. Have a listen to this, and I'd like you to take a screenshot, if even, and it goes a little something like this. Yeah. So I'm going to highlight this little piece here, and it looks like that. And not that you can see that maybe, but it says, one last question before we open the calendars. What do you have in mind investment-wise to make sure that this can work for you? Is it X a month, Y a month, or Z a month? Everyone varies. What does it look like for you? Now, another great way to say this, and I've done this before, is if you know the cost of your product or service, if you know what that is, then it's a really good thing to be able to say, like, I know, for example, that we have an A or we have a B. This one is the cheaper one. This one is the more expensive one. So whenever I talk to someone, I always know what the minimum price is. And so if someone says to me, I don't have a budget, I don't know, and I have this a lot, because people don't want to, sometimes people don't want to tell you because they're too scared that you're going to take it up. So I don't know, it depends, like I don't really know the strategy, I'm not really sure, just there's a lot, it really depends on ROI and rah, and you go, great, well listen, I always think, the problem that you've got obviously is you have some allocation, like give me some idea of what's reasonable. I always give me some idea of what's reasonable that might help me put together the perfect strategy for you. Now, Kay said, do you have X to invest in this? If you know what your pricing is, then you should say, do you have X to invest in this? Or do you have a minimum of X to invest in this? If you know what the pricing is, you can say that. Do you have, what I'm thinking is probably going to start at around about X. Does that fit your budget? So you can either ask directly, or you can give people what I call the range. You say, look, we have a couple of options. One starts at around 1,500. The other one starts at around 4.5. I'll definitely give you both options, but does that kind of sit within your budget? And then sometimes I'll even say, because what I don't want to do is put together the right solution for the wrong budget. Right? That's a really fair thing to say, don't you think? What I don't want to have to do is present you with the right solution, but for the wrong budget. And that's a fair statement. And most people go, oh yeah, look, well, no, that price sounds like fair. We could work with that. And then in the proposal, you give them an A or B option anyway, right? And let them choose. But I just want to make sure that the people that I'm speaking with, if I'm going to go to another call, that there is budget there, because that's important based on the decision. So Marie, I just want to circle back to that doesn't necessarily help you now, but that's something you could do next time. But what's the question that would help you now? Are you wondering how to price now?
Yeah, so the question beyond, so that was one thing that happened in the brainstorm, but beyond that, I'm actually pricing. So I did a project for another organisation who recommended this, the person I'm talking to. And so that program was all delivered online, and they don't want online delivery. So it's changed the whole thing. So they want it in-person delivery. So which changes for example, there's a launch, and the launch was done to separate groups online.
Yeah.
In person, they have a theatre, so there's 60 people, so that can be delivered in 90 minutes in person. So there's a lot of the things have changed. So there isn't it's not like I can quote a price up front. Does that make sense? It's like the dynamics of the delivery have changed.
Yeah.
So for the first, can I just say, so for the first 2 months, there were fortnightly or bi-weekly, if you're not in Australia, 1 hour sessions to complete the first, part of the program. But that can be done in 1 4-hour workshop in person.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
Yeah, per group. So anyway.
We're kind of going into another realm, but what I want to do is help you with that, is that you're also, and I've got clients who do in person, and then they do in person. So you could go 4-hour workshop in person, and then you could still do online that supports that workshop, right? So over a month or over a quarter, if it's a quarter, you do 1 month as a workshop, month follow-up, online, and then you can mix them. Then you can give them options. Option A, it's all in person, and you make it really expensive because you don't want to do it. But if they pay for it, it'll cover it. And then option B, you make it the way you want it and you price it the way you want it. So it's a mix, hybrid. Just you remember, and I can't say this enough to people, the client doesn't actually know what the client wants. What they're saying is, we want it to be in person. Okay. They're not saying the whole thing in person. They just want a part of it in person. So you go, cool. Well, we can do, option A is we can do it all in person. It's going to be, $1 million because that's my time and blah, 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 whatever. And you can have the reasons why. And then you could go option B, we can do a hybrid where we do workshop in person and then online support around the topics that we create. And then every quarter we come back and do another in-person workshop, and then we support it online. And that's, $200,000, for example. Which one would you like? And then you're giving them a choice, Marie. Well, like most people won't know what they want. I've got some clients who do hybrid. They've got international clients. They physically can't fly to the UK and then fly back, but they still want to work with them. So you know what I mean? You're just lucky that at the moment, in a way, you're just lucky that they are in Australia. Mm. But you got to think, what if they were in the US?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would make the program I design compatible with international clients too. And that's what I would say to them is that, well, we actually work with international clients sometimes like this, and like this. Option 1, all in person. I can do it like this, and this is how it would work. Option B, we do a hybrid, and we can do some in person and some online. Which would work better for you? Yeah. Is that helpful, Marie?
Yeah, it is helpful, and I've got a lot of thinking to do because, it's because I have a set program. That's the thing, and I'm trying to fit a set program into their needs. And
That's right.
It's 10 months. It's 10 months. Yeah. So, but I could reduce it to 8 by doing things. And
you're trying to fit your program into their needs, and I get that, but you can. There's a compromise.
Yeah, I just need to kind of let go and think outside the box more.
Kate said it too, and I have another client like Cyril who was just here before, does the same thing. They always have a base, and then it increases per person. So price-wise, it's very easy to say, yeah, we do it like this. However, if the delivery changes, then the price can change. Like if you want me to be at your event, it's instead of the base of 50, it's going to be 85. Like for example, Cyril will say, if you want me to present it, it's 55. If you want my team to present it, it's 40. So variables change. Give them options, A or B options. But yeah, Marie,
and so just out of interest, when Cyril does give that option, do they normally choose him?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, it doesn't matter. Actually, some of them don't. Sometimes, depending on the size of the client, he won't offer himself. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I'll put something together and I might run it past you, Vaughan, if that's okay.
Throw it in the group. Throw it in the group. Yeah. You can have a look. I'll have a peek.
Okay. I'll put it in the group. Yeah.
Good idea, Marie. Go get it.
Thank you.
Pricing is, oh, you're welcome. Pricing is such a big part of marketing, guys, as well. Like, because obviously, I often think about when you price something, that determines how you can deliver something, because you don't want to, and how you deliver something determines how you market something. So they're all interconnected in some way. So making sure your pricing and your delivery is set, so when you actually market it, you know that if someone's interested, you can deliver it. And that's good. So these are good conversations to be having. Hey, there was one more. Kira, do you have any questions about your ESG stuff, mate? Is there anything that you want to go through based on what I mentioned? You guys had a conversation, and right at the last minute, you had a question. And if it could be helpful, I'm happy to help you today, mate, if you'd like to.
Look, I just need to clarify some of my offer because you and Board mentioned a couple of points there today. He sent me a private note. I just need to have, going back and say the model, the offer, the marketing, the leads. I haven't nailed down what audience I actually help. So I've got stacks of council work. Probably 80% of the business is just naturally fallen that way, but we need to move away. Or not move away, keep that 80, but push that further. So it's just a matter of actually showing not waste people, but asset managers. So shopping centers and all sorts of stuff that do have waste as an activity. They see it as a cost, and they see it as recycling as a cost. We need to actually have a good model and say, or good offer to say, yeah, you've got compliance issues, you've got commercial issues, and you've got corporate issues. There are 3 things that we can solve for you. So it just makes examples. Say it's run a shopping center. I've got to do all this. So Ryan, we can come in and say, look, we'll look at your corporate issues, look at your compliance issues, and be commercially responsible. So just got to tidy that up a little bit.
Remember that I like that. Like compliance, commercial, corporate. Looks like a 2-year-old's written on this iPad this morning. I don't know why. As well, just something just normal, really. So what we're going to do is, if I flicked it, and this is really important, right? So these words here, I call these words are context. So they're like the features. So what we're seeing here is, Kieran, you're doing a really good job of talking in the features. Features are compliance, commercial, corporate. Great. Now, yes, I know what that is, but what I don't know is what it does. And that's what a benefit is. So for example, if we took these words and I said, okay, Kieran, so tell me, what's compliance? What's the benefit of compliance? Like what would you do that would be a benefit of that for that client in terms of compliance?
So we would review their existing approval or license and make sure they're adhering to that.
So and what does that do? It reduces risk.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yep. See, so reduce risk. So now that's a benefit.
Okay.
Whereas
Yeah.
reviewing your license is the feature.
Yep.
The benefit of that is reduce.
Yeah, good.
Risk. So we'd say we're going to come in, reduce your license. That's what it is. And what it does is it's going to reduce your risk and your liability. Right? Perfect. Now you go, what is commercial? Commercial, what does that mean?
So commercial means that running a shopping centre may spend, let's just make this up, $20,000 a month on waste management issues.
Yep.
And then we can potentially reduce that or have a look at the bin variation on stuff. But I think it ties into the other thing is that people are worried about compliance and more so corporate stuff. Because it's if we implement corporate stuff, it's going to cost us more. Well, probably won't if it is done properly.
Yeah. So if you think about commercial, you just said the word costs. So
Yep.
I'm going to show you how to. Is it manage costs or reduce costs or control costs?
Yeah, it's probably controlling costs. Yeah.
Control costs, right? Great. Reduce risk and liability, control costs, and what's corporate?
So corporate, a lot of businesses now have to say that, we're doing these sustainability measures and we're doing all this circular economy or we're being environmentally friendly. And a lot of it's just, to be blunt, it's just a flag waving exercise.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And it's just, we're doing this and we're using that. But shareholders are, demanding it. But they, in effect is that, when you come to them, you say, Brian, we'll do this. Oh, actually, mate, we'll pretend doing it. Can you pretend doing it? Because I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
So we're going to show them, and I'll say this as a university in Brisbane. It says, oh, yeah, actually, we want to do sustainability, but we want to tell our students this. But actually, mate, we actually don't want to do it because it's going to cost the business too much.
Right. So how would you say that without saying that?
I don't know, because I've actually said that to them and they didn't like it, so.
Yeah. So I think that the thing is like, it comes down to the word that comes off the back of sustainability, right, is really about reputation.
Yep.
Right? That's what they're worried about, aren't they?
Yep. Yeah, true.
Right? So if you think about reputation, you could add the word ethical reputation.
Okay. Yep.
Because that's or reputation and responsibility are these words that I'd be playing with. Maybe ethical is not the right one. Maybe it's reputation and responsibility. I'll just add that here.
Okay. Yeah.
So when I look at that and I go asset managers, here in version 1.0, which is great, right? We've done this in like 6 minutes, is like compliance, commercial, corporate. They're all the things that they know. And you have to have that there because that's what it is. So what it is the features. Compliance, commercial, corporate. That's what it is. What it does is we help you in your compliance, we review to make sure we reduce your risk exposure and liability. Then we come in and we review your waste costs and put measures around your costs so you can control them. Then we have a look at your sustainable responsibility and make sure that we manage that in accordance with maintaining and enhancing your reputation. Who's going to say no to that?
Yeah, true.
Yeah, an idiot. Like, you'd be like, oh, so you don't You want more risk. You don't want to control costs, and you don't care about your reputation. No. Okay. Cool. Definitely not the right client for us, mate. Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
play it
yeah.
there.
So
Yeah.
So take those, Kieran, and I would use those as a here's what it is, here's what it is, and here's what we do.
Okay. Actually, thanks for clarifying that, both Rana and Vaughan, because the compliance corporate commercial is a great tagline, but actually showing them the benefit is the better. Yeah.
Yeah. Link a benefit. What it is corporate. What it does is, control costs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good job, mate.
Okay, good.
Cool.
Thank you.
Good on you, Kieran. No, you're welcome, mate. Always welcome. Help them be a better corporate citizen. Yeah, Joel. But, these days, the thing is, we are in a time where there are opportunities coming up that we never thought we'd have in marketing, right? And those of you in corporate, there is like whether we like it or not, and I'm not saying you have to, I don't want to go into any political stuff at the moment, but you think about it, there are carbon scores. There are going to be DEI scores. There are going to be environmental scores. These things are going to come up, whether we like it or not, in corporate and in these big spaces. They're kind of being used as yardsticks, right? And I think what we have to do is be able to be aware of them. And sometimes in order to, they say in order to break the rules, you've got to know the rules, right? And so understanding what your audience wants, what they need, and being able to put the right solution in front of them, right, is really important. And I think we've got to look at our products as I said, if we go back to the start of this conversation, at the end of the day, your offer, your business is just an offer. There are structure around it. And the clearer you are on that thing, the better your delivery is going to be. The clearer your delivery will be, the more effective your delivery will be, the more effective your marketing will be. The clearer your marketing will be, the more confident your marketing will be, the easier sales will become, the faster sales will become, and the more confidently you'll be able to make sales. And that's the game of business, really. Once you get these elements right, marketing is just that part of pointing out, here's what we do and here's how it helps. So, with that in mind, a couple of things. Let's just quickly recap. Have a look at the possibility. Think about your messaging in the positives. If you've been chasing people for a while, send this message. Going back through that exercise, it was really good with you, Marie, to actually look at, delivery, which is part of your offer. How would you deliver that for someone who wants all in person? Great. Give them options, all in person option, hybrid option, price accordingly. Right, and throw that in the group, Marie. Let's have a chat about that, because I definitely want to see you win that, and we'll do the best we can to help you with that. Kieran, really good today, just going through the features and then the benefits, and that's something we can all probably do. And I do that constantly. Does that thing sound like compliance, got it, but why is it important? Reduces risk exposure and reduces liability. Right, okay, cool, we need that.